Welcome back to the Nice to Know series. I'm Manuel, and in this video I would like to show you how you can easily add a slider to your chart in Excel. And with that slider, you will then be able to switch between different data that should be displayed in your chart. In our case, this is going to be some stock data. Now, what do we need to do this? Well, we need Excel and we need source files. Well, Excel is something that you hopefully have already, and the link to the source files can be found down there in the video description. And if you open that source file then you should see something like this right here. If that's the case, then we are ready to start right now. So what do we have right here? Well, as I said, we have some stock data, so stock prices for the Microsoft, the Apple, and the Sony stock. And we have that data for different dates, so it ends on the 30th of June 2017, and it starts on the 4th of January 2016. So that's basically the source data that we want to visualize. Now, if you look at the prices, you can see, well, the prices are kind of different. So we have 69 for Microsoft, 144 for Apple, and 38 for Sony. So we should maybe define a starting base for these prices, like 100 for example, because this makes the visualization in the end kind of easier and better to read. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we can say that we have for the price a starting point, like that. And let's now link that to the Microsoft stock for the beginning. Now, if we go to the last line, right here, this is this one, then we could say that our starting point right here should be 100. Well, and then we could simply calculate, we can say that, well, the change in the first day is change, of course, so the price at the end of the second day in our case, divided by the price at the starting point, multiplied with 100 right here, like that. And as you can see, we now see how our price changed compared to this 100 as a starting point. Now what we should do right here is we should fix the row right here and also right there, so for the starting point and for the 100. If we did that, then we can simply copy that right here up to there, paste it. Well, and as we can see, we now have the prices for the Microsoft stock always compared to this 100 starting point. Now, this is nice, but we don't only have the Microsoft stock, we also have Apple and Sony, of course, so we can simply select all the data we have right here. And, well, now simply drag it to the right by pressing Ctrl R. And with that, we can now see that we have our stock prices again, but now with that common starting point of 100. Let's maybe add some formatting right here. You may have seen it already. I like things to be formatted. So let's maybe do it like this. Make this bold and maybe also align that to the right. Now, in case you wonder why the colors are different when compared to your Excel, we have our, well, at least that's what I think, beautiful Academine schema right here. That's why we have that purple and that orange right there. But we are not talking about the formatting actually. We want to create a chart. So let's do this now. And first we need the chart input right here. Let's place it right there. Now, what could be a potential input? Now, in the end, we want to create such a slider, as I said in the beginning. And this means we want to keep things kind of dynamic right here. And whenever we talk about dynamic things in Excel, it might make sense to at least think about the choose function. If you don't know what that is actually, just take a look at another video that I have here on the channel. In there, I'll talk about the details behind the choose function. Right now, we can simply apply it. So how can we apply the choose function right here? Well, we first need a cell, this one maybe, which is kind of the field that defines which value is selected. And then we can simply write choose, like that. And the index num is now simply that cell right here. Well, we can fix that cell, of course, immediately. And now we can say that if this cell displays 1, then J2, so the cell we are working right now in, should display Microsoft. If we have 2 right here in our input cell right there, then we want to have Apple. And if this is equal to 3, then it should be Sony, like that. Let's press enter. And as you can see, if I change it to 2, it's Apple. If I change it to 3, it's Sony. This is nice. But that's only, well, the stock that we select. But we also have to make sure that the right data is selected. Well, but the great thing is that we can simply apply that formula and kind of copy it down. So let's go right here, jump to the last line, and now copy it. And with that, well, as you can imagine, exactly that happens. So if you take a look at the data, for example, right here, we have 129. This is displayed right there. If I change it to 2, we have 138, so the Apple value, and 3 is, of course, the Sony value right there. So this works nice actually, and that's all the input that we need for our chart. Again, let's maybe apply some formatting before we jump to the next point, like this, that. I don't know if you like that style, so as always, you are free to design that just as you prefer. Make it bigger a little bit. So that's the chart input, and this means right now, well, we also need to create a chart. So let's select that column right here. So we start in J2 and select the entire range. And now go to Insert right here. And now select, well, maybe the simple line chart right there. We can now select the chart and cut it and scroll up again and maybe paste it right here. That's not the best way probably because you cannot see it. Maybe like that. I hope that's okay for you. However, we first should make sure that we also include the date in our chart. So let's right click it, go to select data, and now press edit right here. And now select the label range, which should be, well, the date actually. So let's select the entire column right here. So we got that. And now we can press OK, and OK a second time. And if we now scroll up again, well, then we see that the chart looks kind of correct. So we start at the 4th of January, and end right here at the end of June. This is totally fine. And of course, if we now change that right here, so our choose field that we created, well, then the stock price changes. This is awesome and this is nice because that's actually what we want to have. But the problem is that, well, I cannot see a slider in here. So we always have to change it right here in that cell. And that's not really user-friendly. So let's now add a slider and see how this might change the way we can interact with that chart. And to add such a slider, we need the developer ribbon. This is the ribbon right here. Now, in case you wonder, because you may not have that ribbon, just take a look at the video description. Down there you can find a link which will guide you through the activation process of this developer ribbon. It's really easy, so no worries. And as soon as you got this ribbon, well, then you can select it, of course. And if you now go to Insert right here, then you see different form controls. And we will select this one right here. So let's select it. And now press right here into the chart area. And now you can see, well, this doesn't look really good. So we can play around with it and make it smaller like that. Now it looks better already. Right here, right there. And like this. I don't know, not the most beautiful way, but I think it's fine. Well, now we have that slider and now we can click it, but, well, nothing changes. Not good. So let's make sure that this slider works now. So we right click it, go to Format Control, and now it gets interesting because now we see that we have our current value. Well, we can change that to 1 actually. And now we can specify a minimum value. And if you think back about our choose function right here, well, then we have 3 values actually. This means the minimum value should be 1. And the maximum value, well, this shouldn't be 100. This should be 3. The incremental change and the page change is totally fine, so we don't have to change this. The only thing we have to add right here is the cell link. Well, and as you can imagine, we have the minimum and the maximum value, so we need to link that cell link by clicking right here to this cell right here that we created, and that is again our choose input. Now we got that, so if we click right here and press OK, then we can unselect that slider. Now, and as you might imagine now, if you click onto that arrow right here, then the chart changes dynamically depending on what we select right here. As you can see, it always changes from 1 to 2 to 3. And we can go back to Microsoft just as we want to. And that's actually it. That's what I wanted to show you, because this is, in my opinion, an easy way how to make your chart more interactive, and by that, more user-friendly. I hope this helps you when you work with Excel, and if you want to display something like that and be able to kind of display different types of information in one single visual, maybe think about that solution. And with that, we are now done with that video, and as always, I can only say thanks a lot for watching and hope to see you in one of the next videos. Bye bye.